So today I'm going to be starting the podcast a little bit differently with a little game with my guest. And I didn't tell him about it beforehand, so I'm the only one that cheated a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I want us to say hi to each other in as many languages as possible. And you can't say it in English, French, or Arabic, so those ones are for me. Is that okay?
All right, that works, yeah.
Okay, so I'll start. Hi.
Merhaba.
What language is
Turkish.
that? Oh, merhaba,
Or
that's how you pronounce it.
Merhabalar.
Okay, so bonjour. Oh, wait, allô. Because it can't be bonjour, as in have a nice, or hello, as a have a nice day sort of thing.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
so allô.
Oh, allô.
Allô in French.
Mm-hmm, okay. Pronto.
Pronto in Italian.
In Italian.
Okay. Marhaba.
Mm-hmm. Hola.
Yeah. In which language?
Español.
Okay. Hola in Portuguese.
In Portugués, hola.
Sí.
Mm-hmm. Calimera. Yasas Calimera.
Greek.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Konnichiwa.
Mm-hmm.
Japanese. I knew that one before. I didn't cheat. I knew that one before.
Goedendag.
That's in German?
Nederlands.
Oh, in Holland? In Dutch?
Yeah, in Dutch.
Oh, okay.
Goedendag. Or dag, just dag.
Okay. Ni hao.
Guten Tag.
That was Chinese, and this is
That
what?
was German.
Okay. Oh, wait, no. Annyeonghaseyo.
Oh, Korean.
Yeah,
Korean.
that's good. You knew it. Okay.
I'm going to go with hallo.
And?
Swedish.
Oh, okay. Privet, is that right?
Privyet, Russian.
Privyet, Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Ahoy, Czech.
Czech, okay. This one you would know for sure. Salve.
Latin.
Latin.
Mm-hmm. Bună, Romanian.
Romanian.
Bună ziua, bună.
Okay.
Salut.
Salut. Same?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's different hellos in different languages.
Different languages,
And
right.
I think we gave a little bit of an introduction, but I'm going to continue with my formal introduction of my guest today. So I am actually at a loss for words because I cheated before. And when I compare myself to my guest, I feel like a baby with the basic vocabulary of mama, papa, and only slightly more gibberish because it's more than vocabulary. It's vocabulary in multiple languages. How many? To be honest, I'm still discovering more and more eloquence within him as I go. It's the ease with which he expresses his thoughts and feelings in the language of his choice. Effort, enthusiasm, or gift, probably it's a mix, a combination of all three. Maybe it's also his connection to Earth, history, and how humanity lives with its surroundings. I think we should let him explain it, and let's ask 10 questions to my extraordinary guest, Patrick Khoury. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's so nice to have you. It's fun also that we started with a game this time.
Yeah, and I hope to live up to some of the wonderful words you said about me.
No, of course you will. So the thing is that you speak so many languages, all on your own. You taught yourself. What is language exactly?
Mm-hmm. So language is a means of communication.
Okay.
It can either be verbal or nonverbal.
Okay, that was one of my questions for you. Okay.
Yeah. So humans developed this verbal communication,
right?
The verbal way of communicating, of transmitting your thoughts, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically, we started off with sounds when humans evolved. We started with sounds, o, simply vowels, basically. Then we introduced consonants, then words, and then languages.
So that's the evolution of
language.
That's,
roughly.
Very basic.
Very basic evolution of languages.
Yeah.
So what is language for me? It's an entity. It's a complex. It's something very fascinating. It's a world in itself. It's a universe.
Right.
It's not only words and phrases and pronunciation, intonation, all these aspects of the language. It's also feelings, emotions into it.
Yeah.
It's...
the expressions, you mean, also?
The expressions, exactly, because a lot of times you cannot translate word for word. It doesn't make sense. Like, for example, in German, you have this expression, du bist der Hammer. Right, which means you are the hammer, which doesn't make sense if you translate it word for word.
Right.
But it means you're great, you're awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're the hammer.
Okay.
Like, you cannot translate word for word. So it's like, really, language is something unique.
Okay.
and it like develops a certain distinct personality of its own.
From the
its own
culture
right.
of its people.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. I was going to ask about the cultural elements. So what other means of communication is there besides the language, like you were mentioned, for example?
In terms of culture, you mean?
Yeah, it could be anything. I mean, what other way is there a language like we can speak through our eyes?
Right.
Like we have the frown also. I know
Exactly.
there's the basic facial features that like disgust and happiness and sadness and anger.
So there's the nonverbal communication, which we talked about.
Okay.
It's eyes, it's lips, it's the facial expressions, it's the muscular expressions as well.
Oh, muscular.
Like the way you contract your muscles as well.
Oh, right here.
Like if I take
you're tense.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
If you're tense, I'll take German as an example.
Yeah.
When I speak German, I usually my like the throat muscles contract, the neck muscles contract.
Automatically.
Automatically.
And the accent,
yeah.
you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Also, wenn ich Deutsch spreche, dann spreche ich so.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's contracting.
But why is
on
it
the neck
because
level.
they're such a, I don't want to say aggressive, they're tense people?
I wouldn't say tense people, but because maybe it's related to phonetics.
Okay.
Like you have the ich.
Right.
When I say ich, automatically I'm contracting the muscles.
Okay.
And other sounds as well.
Right.
So it's not because like Germans are like, let's say, tense people. They're not.
Right,
That's a
right.
stereotype.
Okay.
It's because of the phonetics, basically.
Okay. What got you interested in languages?
I mean, we used to travel a lot when I was a kid,
Yeah.
when I was 14, 15.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to eavesdrop a lot
Okay.
on the conversation.
Of whom?
People
People around you.
People around me.
Sitting
yeah,
in
when I used to
beside you
travel.
in a restaurant or something.
Exactly. Like
Okay.
in the metro, in the restaurant. I used to
Okay.
eavesdrop and I used to be fascinated. Like I
Yeah?
wanted to understand what they were saying.
Okay.
Like if they were talking about me or like I used to hear blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
And I wanted to understand everything basically.
Okay.
And this got me into like this is what got me into languages, into the realm of languages primarily.
What languages were spoken at home?
So French, Arabic French, and some Spanish as well.
And do you feel more connected to people when you learn their language?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It gets you closer to the person.
Yeah.
And there are some nuances in the language that you kind of understand, like
Yeah.
tap into,
Yeah.
that you wouldn't otherwise, like if you were to speak English, let's
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Like
Which English?
Which what?
Which English?
Which English, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we have dialects in
Yeah.
English. So, yeah, like I don't like to use English as a means to, let's say, to communicate my thoughts when I'm abroad, when I'm traveling around. Because I
it's
feel
the universal language right now.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I feel more connected to the people, to the culture, basically. I feel like, you know, there's this gap that's being bridged
Okay.
between the culture and I.
Are they more comfortable with you when you start speaking their language?
Yes, in general.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you adopt the accent so easily.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you're speaking as though you're a native of the language, do you practice this or how do you adopt it? Or you just learn to just listen and observe and you just capped it right away?
Pronunciation is something I have a knack for, let's say.
Okay.
I really enjoy pronunciation.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Kind of like an actor, I feel, you know?
Exactly, yeah. There's
Yeah.
this analytical approach and holistic approach when it comes to pronunciation, like the
Okay.
psychological approach. The
Right.
analytical approach is, you know, there are several techniques I developed in terms of developing a good, like spot-on pronunciation, let's say, which one of them is shadowing, the shadowing technique.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Like you
So imitating the
imitating,
person.
exactly,
Yeah.
imitating,
Okay.
to get it spot on.
Right.
But there's also the psychological approach, which is imagining as if you are a native speaker of that language. Like if I want to switch to French now,
Right.
I will not speak in French through the eyes of a Lebanese person.
Right.
I'm
So
going to
you
do
won't
it.
literally translate to the French, the Arabic expressions into French?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Because it's a distinct personality. You know, it's a different shade of my personality. A lot of people ask me, does it change? Does your personality change?
Right.
It does, but not entirely.
Okay.
I mean, it's like different shades of my personality that I'm tapping into.
Okay. You did a
And
video on this actually
Yeah.
on YouTube about how to speak the native language without translating literally from your original native language.
Exactly.
Okay. And did you ever learn a language specifically to be closer to somebody?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Not yet. Okay. When you're going to have kids, what language are you going to teach them when they grow up?
If I'm going to have kids.
If you're going to have kids, sorry.
I don't know, maybe Latin
Oh, really? How are they
or
going to...
Greek.
You're going to give that as an extra language, you mean?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily push anything onto them.
But you have to register them for school.
Yeah. Well, I think English, right?
Right, okay.
English and perhaps Chinese,
Oh, okay.
Mandarin Chinese.
Yeah? Well, we'll wait for the time to come.
Yeah,
You
like
might change your
I'll let
mind.
them choose, actually. I'll let them choose.
At 5 years old?
Maybe I'll wait a little bit longer than that.
What's the most difficult language for you?
That I learned?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
In general, also.
Yeah, I'd say Thai.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't learned Thai, but I heard a lot of things about it.
You visited Thailand, though,
Yeah.
and you weren't able to communicate with
No.
the people in
No.
their native language?
I haven't learned it. I haven't learned
How'd
it.
you learn a language?
How do I learn a language in
yeah.
general?
Yeah.
So I
Because you know a little bit of Vietnamese.
yeah,
So where did you
it's
learn?
very limited. My Vietnamese is very limited.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I picked up a few words here and there
Okay.
to be able to just get by. You know?
Right.
Like,
Right.
thanks, how are you? I'm fine.
Okay.
How much does it cost? You know, these
The typical tourist.
the typical tourist, exactly, expressions and questions.
So what makes Thai language so difficult?
It has 5 tones.
Oh, it's not just the vocabulary.
No.
Oh, okay.
The grammar, the tones, the pronunciation, everything about it. It's so
really?
difficult.
More
so
difficult than Chinese.
Absolutely. Like
okay.
Chinese, okay, the characters are difficult. Like if you
Yeah.
want to learn the characters.
There's
but
thousands, apparently.
Thousands,
Right.
more than 5,000-6,000.
Yeah.
But grammar is very regular.
Okay.
Words are different. Vocabulary is kind of distinct.
Okay.
But grammar is easy. Like it depends on what aspect you're comparing it to, basically. If it's
Okay.
grammar, then Chinese is easier than Thai, Vietnamese, etc.
Right. What is
Even
it?
French.
It's easier than French?
Absolutely, in terms of grammar.
The Chinese, you mean? French has so many exceptions.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
How do you learn a language in general?
So I would buy myself an audiobook.
Okay. Not from Duolingo or something like
No,
this?
no.
Okay.
I recommend like a course called Assimil, which is what I basically use.
Right.
It's a French collection or series of many different languages. They have
Okay.
over 100 languages.
Oh, okay.
And basically it contains 100 lessons
Oh, okay. For different languages?
for different languages, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And so I start listening.
So it's more conversational?
It's more conversational. They have dialogues. It's conversational
Okay. That's
as well.
more useful when we want to learn a language just to communicate, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you get a hands-on experience. It's like really authentic.
Okay.
It's the authentic language spoken in the streets.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what makes it beautiful.
Yeah, that's true.
And
it's not formal.
It's not formal.
Yeah.
It's not formal.
Yeah, okay.
This is what they don't teach you in schools.
Yeah, exactly. At
Right?
school, it's just the perfect grammar and the perfect
Yeah,
sentence
lists of
structure.
vocabulary.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Tedious
Yeah.
lists of like useless vocabulary. Like
Right.
let's learn all the fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay, but how are you gonna make use of them?
So you don't
Day-to-day
learn how
life.
to write or read specifically. It's more the oral part of the language.
It's the oral. It depends on the language.
Okay.
Like for Greek and Russian, I'm equally interested in both reading and writing,
Oh, okay.
and oral as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You did a video you're explaining all about Baalbek in the language, in the Latin language.
Right.
That was so beautiful. Why did you choose Latin?
Well, I mean, because it's Baalbek, Heliopolis was primarily a Roman city.
Right.
Right, 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to recreate this atmosphere, this magical atmosphere.
It sounds so magical when you explain it in Latin.
Yeah.
I really highly recommend for people to watch it because it's subtitles in English anyways.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You can see it, but it's just so poetic when the way you say it when it's in Latin.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big project. It took me like 6 months.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, a lot of research. A lot of research.
Okay.
Like not only the information, you have to double check the information, but also the translation in Latin.
Oh, okay.
And you have to be like spot on in everything.
Right.
So it took me a lot of time.
Oh, so now I have a better appreciation of what you did also.
Yeah.
You're focusing right now in your videos on Phoenicians.
Mm-hmm.
What is bringing you to focus on Phoenicians now? Is it out of patriotism? Or is it out of just simple interest? Or because the alphabet started here in Lebanon? Like, what is it that is getting you to focus in different ways, different angles on the Phoenician language?
Mm-hmm. Very good question. So Phoenician, like during Phoenician times, there weren't a lot of records kept because everything was burned down.
Okay.
And they used to write in like the papyrus.
Yeah.
Right. That was brought from Egypt.
Right.
And they decayed with time.
Isn't that, if only we can have them now, like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we know very little about the Phoenicians.
The Dead Sea Scrolls, are they in papyrus also? Or are they on tablets?
On tablets.
Oh, okay.
Those are in tablets.
Okay.
But most of the records they kept, they wrote everything on the papyrus.
Oh, jeez.
Papyrus.
Yeah. Is it papyrus?
Yeah, I think it's papyrus. So I wanted to, give out as many information as possible, being evidence-based, of course, because there are a lot of conspiracy theories when it comes to,
I would
Phoenicians.
say in every language there's a lot of...
In every language, every historical, let's say, period.
Right, especially because there's no documents.
No documents.
Yeah.
Yeah, like who built the pyramids? A lot of people would say like the aliens and things like that. Yeah, who built Baalbek? The aliens. Of course.
Also for
it's
Baalbek?
Always the aliens.
Yeah, it's always the aliens. So there's no answer.
No answer whatsoever.
Yeah, so it's always the aliens.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you didn't say, like, is it also from patriotism? Is it because you're connected to the area where Phoenicians were? Like, why is it that you're concentrating so much on the Phoenicians right now?
It's a bit of patriotism as well.
Yeah.
And it's just because I really like the fact that these people were kind of peaceful in the region.
That's true. They never created war. They never started any wars.
They never waged any war.
Right.
Never started any war.
Yeah.
And they were in good terms with the Egyptians.
Yeah.
And with the Greeks. The trade was super good.
Yeah.
They mastered the Mediterranean, the trade, etc.
They're even part of Greek mythology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I wanted to know more about them,
Okay.
That's it mainly.
Are you discovering anything like interesting that you'd like to share with us today?
Something interesting about the Phoenicians.
Yeah. Something like not typical that we know,
Not typical. Oh, I have to think now.
Okay. Because that's tough, because there's not that much information
Exactly.
out there.
Exactly.
Right.
Maybe we'll leave it for later on.
Okay.
When something pops up.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you something. If you had to speak one language just for 1 month, I was going to ask for a year, but that's unrealistic. But if you want to speak one language for 1 month, which one would it be? Is there a language that you're the most comfortable in?
I'm comfortable, in 7.
Oh, comfortable in 7 languages?
Yeah.
Wow.
7 that I speak fluently, that I use for my job as well.
Okay. Which you are? We didn't mention that.
Yeah, I'm a language coach.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I didn't know that part. See, we're discovering new things about you.
Like I teach people how to learn languages basically on their own, autodidactically.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. But also I teach Italian, French, and Arabic.
Okay.
German as well.
Okay.
A language that I would like to speak for a month. Wow, that's a good one. Maybe Greek.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I have a fascination for Greek, like the etymology of the words.
Etymology. There's a lot that comes from Greek words.
I love it. Exactly.
The etymology of words, I think, is one of the most fascinating topics because you learn so much, not just from the language, but you learn a whole bunch of history just from etymology of the words.
Exactly. There's a plethora of words out there.
Plethora, is that Greek or Latin?
It's Greek. It's Greek.
Yeah? What does it mean exactly? Break it down for us.
I think it means like a handful.
Oh, pleth as in...
Plethos.
Plethos.
Plethos as in handful, yeah, like a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, it's interesting.
So if somebody wants to learn a new language, what would you suggest for them to do? Just go on to this, for example, this application, this French application that you're talking about?
It's not an application. It's a series of books.
Oh, okay.
Audiobooks,
you said.
Audiobooks, exactly.
Right.
They can start off there with the audiobooks,
Right.
and they can use what I personally do is I would go on YouTube,
okay,
for example,
yeah,
and choose some like videos that I can listen to. I would focus primarily on input.
Okay, what you can understand, you mean?
You can't understand when you're starting out with the language, right?
Okay.
You're just picking up the pronunciation,
right,
the intonation, the rhythm of the language.
The rhythm.
How the language sounds.
Yeah, because for example, the Italians,
yeah,
they're very passionate when they
exactly.
speak. They're like full of energy when they
Each
speak.
language has a certain rhythm.
Yeah, that's true.
A certain melody, so to speak.
What is the melody for the Arabic language?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure because Arabic, like we have dialects in Arabic.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure about that.
Because what foreigners that listen to Arabic, they find it a very aggressive language.
Yeah, but not Lebanese.
Oh, not Lebanese.
I've heard that Lebanese is like super smooth.
Yeah,
when we
more
talk,
fluent,
it's smooth. Yeah,
more fluid.
because you don't have. We also don't have the qaf, dha, these letters like the hard,
the heavy
rough,
ones,
tough ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Letters. The qaf, for instance, that has
the literal.
Right. Yeah, that turned into a glottal stop. The qaf.
Oh, okay.
Like you don't say baqara, you say ba'ra, for example, right?
Right.
Or bu'ra.
Right.
Not aqra.
Yeah, you read, you mean.
Yeah.
This is so fascinating for me because you go to so much of the details of the language and we don't appreciate how much thought and intellect went into creating these languages. There's so much to learn just from, just when I was researching how to say hello in different languages, I learned just so much from that. Like a lot of languages resemble each other. Like I saw hello in Dutch. Actually, you said it a bit differently, but I saw it in English and Dutch and different other languages. Yeah. They just say hello.
Yeah.
It's so interesting just by learning one word in each language, how much you learn.
Yeah, because it's Germanic.
Okay.
Dutch, Swedish, Norwegian,
right.
German, English, hello. This is where it comes from.
Yeah.
So they're all Germanic.
Right.
If you learn one or two Germanic languages, the third one will be kind of a piece of cake. Not really, but it would be a lot less harder to learn.
Okay.
I always, people ask me, what is the most difficult language to learn? It always depends on your native tongue.
Okay.
Right? If your native tongue is Italian, then French would be easier than German. But if your native tongue is Dutch, then German would be easier than Italian or French.
True.
So it's always a question of relativity.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking how much time and effort you put into this, and this is just like, I don't want to say a hobby, but this is just out of your own personal interest. It's incredible since a young age that you were doing this.
Yeah.
Another fun fact about you is that, but we'll keep this for a different episode, but this is interesting, is that you run marathons bare feet. How you got to doing that, I don't know. And I wonder how the state of your feet are, if they're all scratched or anything. Maybe next time you can tell us.
Absolutely. So
my last question, what makes the ordinary extraordinary?
Wow. I think it's when you take the ordinary and put a lot of attention and give it a lot of depth, or acknowledging the depth of this ordinary, that brings meaning to it. This is what basically makes it extraordinary. Because extraordinary doesn't exist, in my opinion. It doesn't exist.
It's our perception.
It's always
like a sunrise or a sunset, for example.
Or a sunset, or simply utility as well.
Okay.
Like, for example, we're drinking water right now.
Right.
Okay, we take it for granted, basically. It's water.
Yeah.
It's accessible to a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not to everyone. But
it's a basic necessity in life.
The basic necessity. But, however, if we were to go run a marathon in the Sahara Desert, water becomes a utility. It becomes high priority.
Right.
It becomes extraordinary. Right? Something banal, something mundane, something really ordinary like water becomes something full of life, basically.
So appreciating the simple things.
The simple things. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's attention, bringing attention to the now, to the things we're doing.
This
basically.
conversation is extraordinary for me. I really appreciate it.
Same here.
How can we say thank you? How many languages can you say thank you in? Or goodbye or something like
this? Dziękuję, Polish. I'm changing a little bit.
Okay.
До свидания. Спасибо, до свидания, по-русски.
Which is
Russian.
Okay. That is Russian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like thank you, goodbye.
Okay.
Hvala vam puno. Serbian.
Okay.
Gratias tibi vobisago. Gratias vobisago.
Okay.
Latin. Arrivederci.
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 Let's leave it on the most the most fun one. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci, dai.
Yeah,
Facciamo così.
The one that's most popular and everybody loves to say it anyways.
Arrivederci.
Grazie, amico.
Grazie.
Amico.
Amico.
Amico, grazie.
Grazie anche a te.